My dear child, something hidden has just transpired in the dark corners. Not one, not two, but four spirits have bound themselves together with a single goal. They think tomorrow is theirs, but heaven has intervened. Pay close attention, as what I'm about to disclose will alter your perspective of everything around you. My dearest, tonight I speak to you not to frighten you, but to rouse you. A mysterious and sinister pact has been sealed in the unseen world. Four individuals whose hearts were once estranged have now united by a common motive. They are interconnected not by loyalty, not by friendship, but by darkness. Their bond was forged not in truth, but in fear. And the name etched at the heart of their covenant is yours. Do not let this sentence stir fear within you. I'm not sharing this to alarm you. I'm sharing this so that you may be ready, because what seems like an assault is in fact the revelation of what was already known to me. I have watched them for some time. Their spirits were restless. Their jealousy toward you was covert, but it was escalating. Each one bore their own resentment. One envied your light, another resented your power, another loathed your tranquility, and the fourth simply couldn't comprehend how you managed to thrive even when life sought to shatter you. But rather than healing their own wounds, they opted to join forces in rage. You became their common adversary because your success disturbed them. Their gloom, your tranquility reminded them of what they forfeited. Your tenacity showed what they neglected to construct within themselves. So they congregated not in light, not in sincerity, but in secrecy. They assumed tomorrow is their chance. Yet they're unaware that I, the Lord your God, observed them before they even spoke up. I saw where they arranged, the hour they agreed upon, and the phrases they hushed. They assume nobody sees, but heaven took note of every detail. Their plot isn't grounded in truth. It's built on fear, and fear is a fragile base. It usually crumbles under the weight of light. When shadows unite, it believes itself mighty. But it forgets that even a tiny spark can dispel a room filled with darkness. My child, listen attentively. This gathering isn't just human. It is spiritual. The bond linking them is intangible, stitched through bitterness, resentment, and arrogance. It isn't your words that roused them. It is your presence. You radiate a light that annoys their demons. You walk with elegance that uncovers their intentions. You stand in calmness that disrupts their plans. Do not mistake this revelation for peril. It is divine strategy. I disclose this to you not so you may fret, but so that you may realize that heaven is already protecting you. When I show you the enemy's scheme, it means victory is already inscribed. I sense your unease recently. That heavy atmosphere, that peculiar unrest, that feeling someone is calling your name in places you've never been before. That isn't paranoia, it's discernment. Your intuition senses something brewing, but that feeling isn't meant to frighten you. It's a prompt for prayer, since when you pray, you don't merely converse, you transform things. You sever links forged in the dark. You stimulate guardian angels on standby for your protection. Now let me reveal what transpired. It wasn't in a bustling locale. It was tranquil, chilly, almost forgotten. The very air seemed to pause. Type 222 to claim it. Four individuals approached successively. Their countenances appeared serene, but their hearts seethed with tension. The first spoke with quivering fingers, saying, "Time for action, tomorrow we advance." The second nodded swiftly, eyes heavy with greed. "I know where they'll be," she declared. The third remained mute, his mind shrouded in envy. And the fourth, the most perilous, smiled. But his smile was not cheerful, it was smug. The smugness of finally feeling bonded with others in malice. As they conversed, the ambience altered, the earth beneath them trembled. The wind grew oppressive, and though they couldn't see it, something invisible enveloped them. An unseen thread that linked their plans together. It murmured, "Take everything, destroy all." At that instant I watched. My presence pervaded the field before they even completed speaking. They believed their secret was theirs alone, but their words resonated in the heavens. And when I heard them declare, "Tomorrow we strike," I uttered one word, "No." The moment I spoke it, the spiritual realm quivered. What they conspired together in darkness began to tremble. Because when I intervened, I said, no. Say no, every plot against my kid loses its strength. When I speak safety, even the hidden must comply. Archangel Michael rose swiftly at that order. His armor shimmered with light, his sword sparkled with sacred flame. He looked towards the earth and said, they plan to attack at dawn. And I replied, then safeguard my kid until dawn appears. From that moment, a wall of light enclosed you. Angels took up positions around your home, around your heart, around your thoughts. You were concealed before you even sensed danger's existence. Even your dreams were monitored. Every corner of you was wrapped in divine protection. You might have felt restless tonight, but that unease in your chest wasn't fear. It was vigilance. Your spirits perceived the struggle in the unseen, and while they scheme in silence, you are being guarded in tranquility. So when tomorrow arrives, do not tremble. Walk with assurance, for what they plan will crumble before sunrise. They will discuss instead of act. They will turn against each other instead of turning on you, because I am causing confusion within their ranks, just as I did for my chosen ones long ago. They believe they will awaken to power. Instead, they will awaken to discord. Their alliance will fracture before the first light touches the sky. So sleep tonight without apprehension, my child, because while they whisper, I'm working. While they plot, I am preparing. And while they join hands, I am unraveling their agreement one thread at a time. My child, while the world slept, heaven was awake. In the restless, troubled night, it wasn't just coincidence. It was when the skies parted, and the armies of light started to mobilize for your benefit. My dear one, as darkness deepened, silence fell on the earth, but the spiritual realm pulsed with life. Angels stood vigil, safeguarding each breath you took. You didn't perceive them, yet the atmosphere around you seemed to change. The wind carried echoes of divine instruction, and every malevolent plot targeting you started to dissolve before it could reach your life. When I pledge to guard you, I don't offer comfort. I provide strength. As soon as those 4 souls decided to confront you, I set my defense in motion. They held their secret meeting, but my angels were already on duty, asserting their dominion. Archangel Michael, the champion of light, arose first. His sword gleamed brighter than Venus at dawn. His voice reverberated the unseen. Father, he said, they strike at daybreak. And I replied, then stand watch until daybreak. With that simple command, thousands of angels took flight. Their wings spread across cities. Their presence filled the night sky like quiet fire. They encircled you, not figuratively, but literally around your home, heart, thoughts, even as you slept, my protection enveloping you like a cloak spun from tranquility itself. Type God is good if you love God. Every nook of your sanctuary was fortified. Perhaps you felt something that night, an unusual warmth, a peculiar calm, or a throbbing in your chest that made you feel something strange and unaccountable. Whisper my name. That was your soul resonating with what your eyes couldn't perceive. You were safeguarded. While darkness plotted, heaven whispered, not this one. While they schemed destruction, angels started building salvation. While they aimed to unite, their alliance started to crumble under my gaze. My child paid close attention. You were never left exposed for a moment. I didn't wait for their next move. I acted before them. The moment they said, tomorrow, I said, now. And at that very hour, Archangel Michael drew nearer to the earth. He didn't come alone. The armies of heaven accompanied him. They didn't bear swords of steel, but of light. Every step they took dispersed shadows. Every beat of their wings silenced whispers of harm. In the invisible realm, a conflict began, not between people, but between purposes. The demons that bound those 4 together started to shudder. They became aware their plan was no longer concealed. They tried to hide, but Michael's light penetrated every nook of their darkness. Chains of bewilderment began wrapping around them. Words they once agreed on started to disintegrate. Fear infiltrated their unity. And you, my child, though unaware of the fight, began to feel less burdened. Peace filled the spaces that anxiety once occupied. The weight you felt earlier in the week began to recede, although you couldn't understand why. That was heaven relieving you of your load. Even your dreams that night were protected. No dark whisper could breach the barrier I constructed around you. I ordered angels to stand guard over you. I slept so you could relax while I worked. The world supposes conflicts are waged with sound and activity. But in the spiritual dimension, the most significant victories are quiet. While you slumbered, the adversary's strategies turned chaotic. One lost track. Another questioned the objective. A third started pondering the alliance itself. The fourth, the darkest, felt a pressure in his chest, not from remorse, but from my presence entering the area he thought was hidden. Do you understand, child? You don't have to pursue revenge. You need merely to stand still. When I protect you, I employ both compassion and strength, and my kindness outweighs their cruelty. As the night progressed, I murmured your name through the breezes, not to rouse you, but to safeguard you. Each time your spirit heard that murmur, your protection grew stronger. The angels around your abode shone brighter. The enemy weakened. When I said, "No weapon formed against you will thrive," it wasn't a guarantee of solace. It was a statement of fact. Weapons may form, but they cannot perform in the presence of divine light. Darkness can plot, but it cannot act when angels obstruct the way. So yes, there were murmurings spoken against you that night. There were actions taken. There were words written, but before any of it reached you, my hand intercepted them. Messages failed to be delivered. Devices malfunctioned. Energy drained. Thoughts twisted into confusion. Plans disintegrated mid-course. That wasn't chance. That was divine intervention from above. The daybreak drew near. As the first light kissed the horizon, I instructed my guardians, "Hold your ground." Since then, their pact had crumbled. Their deal, forged in shadows, couldn't sustain itself in the face of light. My child, I want you to grasp this fully. Type 1111 if you love God, Jesus. You were never at risk. You were under exhibition. This was not intended to harm you. It was designed to exhibit divine protection to you. The night they plotted your downfall was the same night I fortified your foundation higher. The same instant they said, "Tomorrow we act," heaven replied, "Tonight we protect." That's why you awoke with an unexpected tranquility even before knowing why. Because your spirit perceived what your mind had yet to comprehend. The battle was already decided. So when the sun rises, awaken softly, open your window, sense the light on your skin, and murmur, "Lord, thank you for battling unseen foes." Those straightforward words will resonate through eternity. For every triumph of heaven starts with gratitude. Now rest peacefully tonight, my child, aware of this truth: heaven doesn't wait for peril. Heaven acts before danger materializes. And the very same guardians who watched over you tonight will remain by your side until dawn, vigilant, steadfast, unwavering. My child, have you ever wondered what happens when wickedness aligns against light? It starts to self-destruct. For when darkness clasps hands, it forgets that its power lies in secrecy. And I am the deity who observes in secret. Tonight, I will demonstrate how their unity fragmented before it could reach you. My cherished sunrise was yet hours distant when their bond started to fracture. What they had constructed on falsehood wouldn't survive a second of honesty. I observed each of the four as they readied themselves, convinced their scheme would prosper. They failed to grasp that heaven had inscribed chaos into their paths. The first remained solitary, uneasy. He rehearsed his remarks, creating lies he meant to utter against you. But the more he drilled, the less coherent his ideas became. His speech became laborious. His self-assurance waned, and every phrase began contradicting itself. He told himself he was weary, but it wasn't exhaustion. It was divine disruption. An angel stood behind him, sowing confusion in his words so that no harm could escape his lips. The second, the woman, faced her mirror, trying to mask her culpability with a tranquil grin. However, even her reflection resisted. As she gazed at herself, she felt something peculiar. Her own visage trembled, her breath halted, and her eyes filled with disquiet. Deep within, her conscience echoed, "Halt before it's too late." But arrogance roared louder, propelling her forward. She picked up her bag and left, failing to notice that the light above her door flickered as a sign heaven was witnessing every move she made. The third man, the taciturn one, awoke before sunrise and journeyed toward their rendezvous. The road appeared clear, but his spirit did not. His hands clenched the wheel tightly, and the closer he got, the heavier his heart weighed. He kept glancing at the mirror, sensing unease. The last one, the vigilant, waited patiently. When dawn arrived, she stepped forth with resolute determination. Despite the chaos that surrounded them, she held fast to her convictions. She knew that the truth would prevail, and they could not resist its power for long. Eyes on him, though he saw nothing, he was correct. Two unseen protectors journeyed with him, angelic guardians, making sure he wouldn't overstep heaven's limit. And the fourth, the chief of them all, the one who bore most darkness, remained motionless, planning his final strike. He believed himself smart, wise, and invincible. But behind him lurked another entity, not human, not gentle. It was the echo of darkness itself, bolstering his arrogance. Yet suddenly that whisper faded under a voice far mightier. It uttered just one word: enough. That word reverberated with an authority no shadow could resist. It rolled through the celestial realm like lightning born of sound. The atmosphere around him thickened and crackled, and in that instant Archangel Michael joined the fray. At the same time, my dear child, you dozed off. You didn't fully awaken, but your soul sensed something, a comfort enveloping you like heat in winter. That calm was not fictitious, it was me drawing nearer. Michael stood by your bedside, his sword faintly glowing, not to terrify but to protect. Around him, countless angels constructed a barricade. They didn't need words, shouts, or noise. Their silence held power. Their stillness symbolized victory. And while you dreamed, the unseen battle reached its zenith. Type 777 if you believe in God, Jesus. The union they crafted began to spin inward. The first man lost all certainty. His thoughts scattered from his mind, swept away by the breeze. The woman was slowed by a stranger's kind gesture, an ordinary Good Samaritan. Conversation she couldn't evade, one that unexpectedly delayed her arrival. The third man's vehicle failed, right in the middle of the road. No matter his efforts, it wouldn't run. And the fourth, the one who thought he commanded everything, all of a sudden felt a burden heavier than usual weighing on his soul. His arrogance quivered. He heard murmurs that weren't sinister anymore, whispers of caution, of compassion, of atonement. He felt a shiver running through his marrow and turned, sensing an entity he couldn't understand. Archangel Michael stood there towering, resplendent, tranquil yet intense. The Archangel didn't attack him. He only said, "You will not interfere with what belongs to God." At those words, every dark force uniting them shattered apart. The invisible bond linking them broke. Their confidence faded. Their hearts filled with fear and suspicion. Instead of meeting, they quarreled. Instead of advancing, they turned against each other. The first accused the second of treachery. The second blamed the third for failure. The third suspected the fourth of deceit. And the fourth, the one who initiated it all, suddenly found himself deserted, his companions scattered, his plan in ruins, his spirit quaking under the weight of divine power. By the time the sun kissed the horizon, their alliance no longer stood. What they intended as destruction became their own demise. They couldn't fathom it. How everything they carefully constructed disintegrated without a discernible cause. But heaven was aware. You, my child, woke up that morning oblivious to the magnitude of what had transpired. You dozed off. You merely sensed a sense of weightlessness. You recognized that the burden you'd been lugging for days vanished. You breathed in a unique way. You grinned without understanding why. That was serenity returning to its proper dwelling within you. Do you perceive it now? You didn't need to battle physically because the struggle was fought spiritually. You didn't have to shout out because I had already voiced on your behalf. The bond that aimed to crush you transformed into a lesson that molded you. The adversaries who targeted your downfall became tools of your narrative. They assumed they were clever, but they became evidence of my presence in your life. My child, remember this truth. No alliance forged in the dark can stand against divine light. No secret gathering can outlast disclosure. No scheme against you can act faster than my protection. So stride forward today with tranquil confidence. You are not a casualty of their plots. You are a bearer of my power. Their union was transient, but your shield is everlasting. And when folks inquire how you survived this hidden war, you will say briefly, because heaven moved before they did. My child, the warrior that aimed to crush you has now knelt before your dawn. What they intended to bury you with has become the ground of your rebirth. The alliance that operated in darkness has fallen in broad daylight. Now it is your time to rise. My dearest, the day that began with dread has turned into knowledge. The light you see now isn't merely sunlight. It is spiritual triumph, revealed for all to see. Heaven didn't just guard you, it uncovered hidden secrets, returned stolen goods, and lifted you into a fresh realm of tranquility untouchable by adversaries. You weren't conscious when the fight occurred, but now you're alert to perceive the aftermath. The four who teamed up against you are no longer together, not because your actions, but due to their own undoing. Their alliance crumbled like fog in daylight. Sun, and what remains is truth, irrefutable divine truth. First, the one who distorted words against you now faces silence. Every false word he once repeated has dissolved. Even the methods he used to deceive have turned against him. His messages self-delete. His files vanish. His voice quivers as he attempts your name. He fails to comprehend it, but his own energy is being thrown back at him. He isn't penalized by you. He's confronted by his conscience. That is my justice, subtle yet unavoidable. The second, the woman who once posed in mirrors to seem strong now confronts her reflection in truth. Her image no longer obscures her guilt. She perceives eyes on her, but they are not eyes of condemnation. They are eyes of compassion urging her to repentance. Each time she lies, her words stick in her throat. She attempts to progress, but calmness denies her. That is my spirit nudging her that what she did in the dark must now be mended in light. The third, who drove with wrath, who pursued deceitfully, now struggles. Jealousy resides now in still contemplation. His strategies have all failed. Each agreement, each scheme, every partnership crumbled like sand. In the void of quiet, I echo, you attempted to hurt someone who never intended to harm you. You pursued what wasn't yours to challenge. His heart softens, tears flow. Repentance starts, and heaven, noticing sincerity, prepares him for renewal. But the fourth, the one who led them, the one who thought he could outsmart heaven, now stands in awe and trembling. For when light entered his chamber, he understood that he was never in control. His documents, his plans, his arrogance, all vanished in a swift flash of divine brilliance. Archangel Michael emerged before him, not to demolish, but to declare. You plotted against what was sacred, he said, but heaven plans restoration. You sought power, yet found mercy. The man fell to his knees, mute. For the first time he saw himself clearly, not as a conqueror, but as a soul in need of compassion. And though he held darkness, I still offered mercy. Because even when I judge, my intention isn't destruction. It is redemption. My child, while all this transpired, you walked in peace. You didn't have to raise your hand, for I had already raised mine. You didn't need to defend yourself, for truth was louder than any dispute. Every force that once opposed you now serves your story. Every doubter will now witness your calm resilience and wonder how you endured. You'll plainly say, because God fought for me before I even realized I was in a struggle. Carefully examine your days now. Observe how doors start to open effortlessly. Observe how conversations shift in your favor. Observe how the same people who kept away previously now approach with gentler hearts. These aren't accidents, they're confirmations. When heaven ends a fight, it doesn't leave scars. It leaves signs. Signs of peace, signs of restoration, signs of advancement. My dear one, you are entering a new storyline, not one based on fear, but on understanding. You no longer need to fear alliances against you because you've witnessed what happens when darkness unites. It crumbles under its own deceit. The lesson I give you now is this: never counter darkness with darkness. Never imitate the malice of others. When you walk in light, shadows lose their power. When you speak with kindness, curses become silent. When you forgive, you release a force that even angels admire. Yes, forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because you are free. Bitterness is a chain that ties, but forgiveness is the key that frees. When you let go, your spirit becomes relentless. As the sun sets on this day, look up to the sky. The same heavens that fought for you yesterday still guard you today. Archangel Michael stands by your side, not just as a protector, but as a witness, a guardian of your next chapter. His sword no longer blazes for war. It glows for direction. From here on, you'll feel a tranquil resilience inside, something gained by enduring trials unseen by others. You'll act, speak, and think differently. Since experiencing divine guidance, it's impossible to live as though heaven is inactive. You, my child, have traversed hidden fires and remained unscathed. That isn't chance, that's fate. The tempest you dreaded became the evidence of your shield. The night that challenged your faith became the night that endorsed your mission. Now whisper these words gently from your soul. Lord, thank you for battling on my behalf when I couldn't perceive the combat. Thank you for transforming darkness into light, fear into trust, and adversaries into instructors. I walk forward with serenity, aware I am never forsaken. And as those words depart from your lips, the skies reiterate them to you. Every syllable becomes radiance. Every inhale becomes a blessing. Child, this phase is no longer about endurance. It's about purpose. You were never designed to live in dread of specters. You were made to stride with authority, recognizing that light is your birthright. So stride into your fresh start with conviction. The truce has been declared. The storm has subsided. The angels still stand vigilant. And from this day onward, no weapon, no murmur, no scheme will ever prosper against you again. Your tale isn't over. It has merely started anew. And this time the world will witness not your strife, but your ascent. Thanks for watching this God message. May God Jesus will grant you abundance in every aspect of your life. Type 222 if you agree. My dear child, something hidden has just transpired in the dark corners. Not one, not two, but 4 spirits have bound